The size of your gift actually determines the size of your harvest. And you see, some people, they misrepresent and they misinterpret this verse. They take harvest to mean God giving me more money. So in other words, if you give a little bit of money to God, then God will give a little bit of money back to you. Or if you're really generous and you give a lot of money to God, then God will give a lot of money to you. And this is what a lot of the prosperities preachers that are famous on TV preach. You know, if you just follow God, he'll make you happy, healthy, and wealthy, and your life will be fantastic. And it sounds great, but it's completely unbiblical. And that's not what this passage is teaching. What type of harvest is it talking about? It says a harvest of righteousness. Meaning when you give a small amount to God and to other people, you will have a very small harvest of righteousness in your life. Meaning you will not make a very big kingdom impact. You will not make a very big difference in people's lives because you're not giving much in people's lives. You're not investing in people's lives with the material goods that God has given you. But if you give a lot, if you sow a lot, you will reap a large harvest because you're serving a lot of people. You're making a difference. I want you to know this. Greedy people rarely have any influence. Why? Because they only care about themselves. You know, the most influential people are the most generous people. And do you know why they're influential? Because they value other people. They don't just value themselves, they value others. And you know what the type of person people like? They like the type of person that values them. The most influential people are the most generous people. If you want a large harvest, you have to sow a lot of seeds. Okay, I don't think you're getting it. Let me go a little further here. I had some seeds in my pocket this whole time, okay? I got some seeds right here. I got one seed right here. It's a sunflower seed. Don't judge me. I'm going to eat some of these after, okay? But I got one seed here. What's the potential of this seed? If I sow this seed into the ground, okay? Sow it in. Someone's going to have to clean that up later. What's the potential of that? One flower. That's it. So if you just sow one seed, that's all you have the potential to reap. That's it. But if God, bit by bit, expands your generosity, he expands your heart, and you say, you know what, I'm not just going to sow one seed. I'm going to sow, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I can count. Okay, 5 seeds. There we go. Sow it in. Now I got a greater potential to reap an even larger harvest. And then God, he expands my heart even more. He makes me an even more generous person. I start to say, you know what? This money's not my money anymore. It's God's money. And he's given me so much. He left all the riches of heaven and he became poor so that I can become rich. None of this is mine. You know what? I'm just going to sow it all. I'm just going to give it all away because I know that it can make a difference. Now someone's really going to have to clean that up. Okay? But I still got some more seeds in my pocket right now. Okay? What happens if I never sow any seed? Put it back in my pocket. So many people never sow the seed. The seed is sitting in their pockets. And guess what? It's not going to do any good to God, and it's not going to do any good to others. And guess what? It's going to make you a greedy person, and it's not going to do any good for you because you'll become a slave to your money. You see, here's what's so amazing, is God actually gives you money to what? Test your generosity. God gives you money to test your heart. What does it say later on in the verse? It says that God is both supplier and multiplier. Let's put the verse back up on the screen here. God is both supplier and multiplier, meaning this. He's supplier. Your money ain't yours. You think you earned it, but really you didn't. He gave it to you. You're saying, what do you mean I didn't earn it? I worked overtime. I put in the work, the creativity, the manpower, all this stuff. Did you know that the reason why your heart is beating is because God is letting you live right now in this moment? That God allowed you to be born where you were born. What if you were born in the middle of Africa? You wouldn't have the opportunities that you have. What if you weren't born with the same parents, the same opportunity? All of it is a gift. And you see, we think we're so awesome in America. You know, the American dream, just work hard and, you know, you'll achieve the best and it's all about you. And God looks at that and he says, if you only knew that it was all a gift and that everything that you have is something that I've actually given you, and I've given it to you, not just so that you could be blessed, so that you can be a blessing to others. But catch this, he's not just supplier, he's multiplier. Meaning, okay, let's go back to the seeds. You got one seed and you sow it into the ground. Well, that has potential for one flower, but within that one flower, there are what? There are more seeds. There is an exponential potential for multiplication. I want you to know this. God can do more with one sacrifice that you can make than more than you could ever even imagine. You think, well, you know, I don't know what he can do. Listen, there's this story in the Bible, right, where they don't have a lot of food to eat. There's a large crowd of people, right, and this little kid, he only has some, you know, a small amount of food, and they give Jesus his little lunchbox, and it's just got a few little items in there, some fish and loaves, and Jesus takes his little, and what does he do? He multiplies it to feed the multitude. God can take your little, and he can do much with it. But some of you, you're not even giving your little. You're not even giving a little. You're just keeping it and letting the seed sit in your pocket. And what God says is, listen, I'm your supplier, but catch this. Here's the dream. I'm your multiplier. If you would just step out in faith and be generous and pour into people's lives. And listen, I'm not just talking about money here. I'm talking about time. I'm talking about relationship. I'm talking about being generous with your whole life. Generosity is not just about money. It's about being generous with everything that God has given you. And when you give even just a little, God can do so much more than you could ever think, dream, or imagine.